What's up, guys? Big J ASC. I wanted to make a video talking about something I've been doing, selling cards on tcgplayer. And it's something I've done before, but I'm just started to get back into it because I moved and I'm looking at all the cards I got and just wanted to get rid of some. I'm also going to be opening Yu-Gi-Oh! 25th anniversary rarity collection for the background. So I've sold on tcgplayer before. I kind of got excited about cards during the card boom during COVID, like a lot of people did. That's the new platinum secret. You can see it on the border. Yeah, so I was buying and selling cards a little bit, just kind of feeling it out. Ooh, that's a good hit. Triple Tractics Talents, Lightning Storm. Ooh, that one's damaged slightly. So, but you know, like a lot of people, I was selling pretty much anything over $1. Because if you're unfamiliar, the way tcgplayer works, unless you're doing direct or something like that, if you're just an individual selling cards, it's not really worth it to sell anything under $1, just because you have to pay for a stamp, an envelope, sleeve, top loader, or whatever it is that you ship in, envelope, you know, all that stuff. So you know, there's not a whole lot of profit you can squeeze out of those type of profit margins, right? So you just think, okay, I'm just gonna sell my valuable cards. But then I wonder, there's people who sell what's called bulk, which if you're unfamiliar, bulk is just basically everything else, everything under $1, cards that are on tcgplayer for 1 penny to 99 cents. I was really kind of fascinated with the idea that there's people selling cards under 50 cents on tcgplayer. How does that work, right? I stumbled upon a couple of channels. TCG Bolt Kings was one of them, and he had the philosophy that every card has value. And I'm like thinking, yeah, I suppose that's true. Ooh, Baron's good. Ooh, and evenly matched. Wow. Time to crack another box. So anyway, basically I found him and I found a couple other videos, and I've just kind of been learning about, you know, I was watching videos trying to learn about better ways to do this thing I'm trying to do, you know, a little side hustle on tcgplayer. And one of the guys I found too is RNG Gamez, and he was talking about, you know, starting out, you can set a price floor. So what that means is if I'm going to list a card, it's going to be listed at 20 cents. Doesn't matter if market value is a penny. Doesn't matter if it's, you know, 19 cents. I'm putting it at 20 cents across the board. And you might be surprised to find out, but some people will still buy those cards. As you get up into, you know, having 1,000 cards listed, if somebody wants to buy a card and they see that you have it, maybe it's $1 card, maybe it's a 50 to 75 cent card, something, you know, a little more desirable, and then they see, oh, you know, I also need a couple copies of this common that's, you know, what, 5 cents, but they see you have it for 20, they don't really care because they're just going to add it into their order. It doesn't make that much of a difference. They want to get their cards from one seller so that it's just easier for them, right? So I stumbled upon that, and then I stumbled upon another thing to kind of help save money on supplies. TCG Bulk Kings uses these things called shipping shields. So I bought them, and I've been using them, and I haven't got any complaints so far. Pretty happy with them. After this pack, I'll grab one to show you. Pot of Extravagance, another Platinum Secret. That's nice. Artifact Lancia, another pot, and Lightning Storm. Looks like that has a print line going right across the middle. So far we've got one collector rare, one ultimate, and one platinum secret, Rhoda. These are just regular secrets, but they look, honestly, these secrets look incredible. This Harpy's Featherstorm looks really fire. And this Artemis too, Got the waifu swag going on. All right, let me grab a shipping shield. But this is a shipping shield. It is basically a cardboard top loader that you can put more cards in. It's environmentally friendly and it's cheaper. I haven't gotten any complaints yet. And I've sold quite a few cards since my inventory is just over 1,200 cards now. One of the things I also learned from TCG Bulk Kings was like just how to list. Maybe, I don't know if you guys have ever, looked up cards on tcgplayer to list them, but I used to just type the name of the card, enter it, then have to find it based on the set. And some of these cards have been printed a billion times, so you're just looking at this long list and you can't search by the set code, and then you list it and then it sells, and then you find out that the market price wasn't reflected very accurately in the way that you searched it. So what he put me onto was that you go into pricing, pick your set. I'm listing everything near mint. If it's not near mint, I'm not listing it. And to be honest, some of the cards I'm listing are probably not exactly near mint, but these cards are so cheap that I haven't seen a problem yet. Anything that's like damaged, I'm not gonna ship, but some of these hollows that I have been moved around a few times, so there might be some foil scratches here and there, but so where was I going with that? So yeah, I invested in the shipping shields. I figured out how to list more efficiently, so now I'm separating cards by set, which is a nightmare for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm sure it is for all card games, but there are so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets, and I have so many, and some of these sets I have maybe 20 cards from the set or less. So it's like, do I want to, you kind of have to separate as much as you can, figure out what bigger stacks, piles that you have from one set, pick that set, list it, and just keep it moving. But the point of this video, and the reason I'm making it, is because I couldn't find a single video about selling Yu-Gi-Oh! Bulk. There are videos about selling Pokemon bulk until your eyes bleed, and there are videos about selling Magic bulk. They're not quite as passionate, I guess, because people who sell Pokemon or in the Pokemon influencer selling YouTube space are very, how I started my Pokemon business and sold $250,000, whatever. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because I saw that no one's talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! Bulk specifically. And, when I first started selling Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards online, I assumed that if a card was under, say, I don't know, 75 cents, 50 cents under, that card was worthless and that no one wanted it, because I assume that the way that, like a lot of these card games work is that either the card is good, and players need it, or it has some collectible aspect to it, or it doesn't. And if it's not good and it's not playable in the main meta of the game or within any of the, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has old formats as well, but I just assumed that a card either checked those boxes and was desirable or it wasn't, and if it wasn't, that it basically had no value and it was impossible to sell it, right? So I've got, apparently, now that I've listed, I've got over 1,000 cards. When it's all said and done, who knows how many it'll be, but that I assumed were pretty much worthless. But as I went through these cards and started listing them in the pricing tab, I discovered some actually more valuable cards, $1, $2, $3. And you're just like, oh, cool. It's like found money as you're going. And then as I'm listing these, under 20-cent cards, people start buying them. And it's nothing crazy, Ooh, is this an ulti? Yeah, that's an ulti. That looks pretty cool on the compulse. Let's look at fossil dig. It's okay. I don't love it on the spell card. It looks pretty cool on the compulse. Ooh, ancient fairy dragon collector rare. Nice. Dogmatica. Let's look at that Striker Dragon too, so you can see how these collectors hit. From what I've seen of collector rares before this set, I was not impressed with them, but these look pretty cool. I'm really wanting to see the 25th. I haven't seen a 25th anniversary rare in person. I've never seen a Starlight in person either. So, but so I start listing the cards, and then to my surprise, they sell. And you know, not even in a logical way where I was talking about, where you think, okay, a player's looking to buy a card, and then he adds on some. That's some orders. Also, some orders are for one card that may or may not be worth the 20 cents that it's listed at. Oh, that is sick. I got Lava Golem. Damn, I might have to keep that. Such an OG, like, childhood card. Oh, man, that is beautiful. 25th anniversary secret rare. See the 25th anniversary stamp? Wow. I'm glad I bought this. I went to Walmart and bought these boxes for probably more than what they sell for on tcgplayer. Just because this set looked like it would be so fun to open. Yeah, so here's the, you know, probably title of this video. Can you sell Yu-Gi-Oh! Bulk on tcgplayer? And the answer is yes. And shockingly, you can sell it for more than market value. It's not going to fly off of your shelf. You're not going to be shipping out, you know, 10, 20, 50 card orders like people who, you know, sell bulk big time do for like a store or a bigger operation where you're listing stuff at market value because you can, you know you're going to get giant orders, or you're doing direct, whatever the case may be. If you're an individual like me, just a guy, and you have a shit ton of cards and you don't want to sell them to a person who buys bulk, or a store who buys bulk for, you know, 1,000 cards for $5, if that's unappealing to you and you're willing to put the work in, maybe you've sold a few cards on tcgplayer like me, and you have, you know, envelopes and rolls of stamps laying around that you bought before, and maybe you have top loaders and penny sleeves and all that good stuff, and you're like, man, if only I could sell these cards that I assume are worthless and that no one's going to buy because they're, you know, 1 cent, 5 cents on tcgplayer. And as far as I know, no one's building a deck with them. Well, apparently, someone somewhere is either building a deck with them, or trying to complete their set, or they just want to fill in their order and they're like, oh, that card looks cool, or, you know, maybe I'll build a Paleozoic deck. I'm going to buy a couple Paleozoic cards. It sounds like it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing. There are people who are buying those things. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like it shouldn't be a thing. But, you know, I may go on the back end and edit in some of my sales just to show you guys that I'm not making this up. I mean, I have no reason to make it up. And if you happen to be watching my YouTube, you probably know me personally, or know me from my sneaker content. So you probably know my reputation. But yeah, I just, you know, when I was heavy making sneaker videos, I experienced a problem with a shoe that I really liked. You can still find the video. It's my highest viewed video ever. It's called My Problem with Foam Posits. And I made a video about a topic that I could not find a video on. And next thing I knew, it had 50,000 views. Ooh, Celine, collector. Wow. There's a lot of collectors I've been getting. A lot of collector rares. Ooh, alternate art Eldridge. Alternate art Eldridge. He's like sitting with his legs crossed. It's pretty G'd up. Dogmatica. So I made that video about the foam posit problem. To mixed responses, a lot of negative comments, but the views spoke for themselves. Apparently, there was enough people searching foam posit problem that I got 50,000 views, right? or I don't know what happened. I don't know if it got picked up on some, I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, anything could have happened, but I think it was just that there was no video addressing this thing that, I got some comments confirming it to me that other people experienced the same problem I had. So, you know, I'm researching, learning about selling bulk, right? And I'm watching all these guys who sell Magic and Pokemon. And I'm like, why is there no video about Yu-Gi-Oh bulk? And I think it's just because it's not glamorous. I think a lot of people who sell Yu-Gi-Oh bulk maybe have stores and stuff, and they sell Yu-Gi-Oh bulk because it's available or they have it and they're opening sets, or people want to sell it to them. But you know, it's not, probably in people's minds, it's not the same money as, like, apparently you can make pretty good money selling Magic bulk if you're a one-man operation like TCG Bulk Kings. Like, there's actually margins in it. Pokemon as well, I think, because there's a player base and a collector base, and you know, people are very active in the hobby. I think Yu-Gi-Oh in a lot of people's minds is kind of like in the background. But to be honest, during the card boom, when I was looking at, like, okay, this is really cool, like this card stuff. I did Pokemon, I did Yu-Gi-Oh. Never really played Magic, but I can appreciate it, whatever. Like, but as much as I wanted to be into Pokemon, it just, something about the art or the card style, it didn't, like, it has nostalgia, but it just didn't feel like something I could enjoy in the same level as an adult. But something about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I was older when I was into them, but like, looking at this new crazy rarity of a card that I played with as a kid and watched in the anime, something about this artwork, this layout, um, it speaks to me, and I think it's insanely collectible, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh is a very underrated IP. Um, and yeah, I just think, I don't know, you know, call me crazy, but I think you know, a Blue Eyes is cooler than a Charizard. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Um, I don't know. It just, you know, to each their own. But um, I think Yu-Gi-Oh cards look really great, especially, you know, vintage ones that have the nostalgia factor. So, can you sell bulk cards on TCG Player? Bulk Yu-Gi-Oh cards on TCG Player? Yu-Gi-Oh specifically? Yes, you can. Should you list a card for 1 cent? No, you should not. Maybe one day when I get into the direct program, I'll be listing cards for $1 if I get it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this whole thing, but it's got my juices flowing, and you know, I like the potential idea of buying bulk from people, separating it out, finding extra value in it, selling the individual cards, all of that. It's an interesting little thing that you can do. And you know, I've still been like trying to flip shoes up until recently, but you know, here's the problem with that. I go to the outlet, maybe I find a good shoe that I could flip for maybe 30 or $50. Maybe that happens once a month. So I do that, but I go multiple times a month. I don't find a lot of value. Then I have to, um, I, I mean, it's a bigger package to ship, whatever. But I guess my point is, you know, I take all these trips to the outlet, and I'm, you know, tempted to spend money on myself. I find shoes in my size that aren't uh, something I can make money off of, but they're there and they're cheap, and I like shoes. Next thing you know, I got, you know, 40 pairs of shoes, and I work, you know, 6 days a week sometimes, and I am not wearing my nice shoes to my job, or they'll get ruined. So it's just like, it seemed like I was spending more money than I was earning. This seems like, you know, I can collect some cards here and there if I want to, but, uh, or do something like this with the set where it seems like I should be able to get most of my money back if I just want to open it for fun. Um, wow, 2 Barons back to back, Super and Secret. But, you know, it's just, I'm trying something different. I had the cards laying around. I needed to get rid of them. So, you know, here I am, telling you my experience. Uh, you know, it's not glamorous. It's, if you tell your friends about it, they're going to be like, what? You're selling individual cards for 20 cents? And then you have to pay for a stamp and an envelope? And how does that work? And in case you're actually like wondering that because you haven't tried this before, here's how it works. You can set your shipping on tcgplayer, I think as high as $2. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're just getting swamped with volume and you need to, you know, tamp it down a bit. But my shipping is set at $1. So what that means is if you find a card that I have listed for 20 cents and you know it's worth 5 cents, but for whatever reason you're gonna buy it from me, you're gonna pay 20 cents plus $99 shipping. And that that 99 cents in shipping is gonna go towards primarily a stamp, second, one of these, an envelope, and a penny sleeve. I have penny sleeves laying around. I put a few bucks into these. Um, I had envelopes laying around. I had rolls of forever stamps from when I decided to start selling cards again, that I bought on eBay. There's a whole thing about that. I don't know enough to speak on it, but apparently discounted forever stamps on eBay are not authentic. I'm using them and I'm not having any problems. So, you know, they were sold to me as authentic and they work. So I wonder about that. But basically, so, you know, you've got, I don't know, 60, 70 cents of costs just to ship the card. So maybe you're getting 50 cents out of each individual card. But the average person is not going to come buy a 5-cent card for 20 cents from you only. They're probably going to buy 3, 4, 5 cards, right? So if the average cost of those cards is, let's just say, 40 cents, uh, maybe one of the cards is $1, so you got $1 plus um, $1.20 from those 3 40-cent cards plus $1 shipping. So you're at 340, and all you have to do is pull out a couple cards, stick them into sleeves, stick them into one of these, stick them in an envelope, write the person's address on it, put the stamp on it, add it to your stack. Maybe you get 3, 5, 10 orders a day, maybe. 10 would be a lot. Maybe I'll get there soon. I don't know. Now I have 1,000 cards listed, so kind of an uncharted territory there. But yeah, you could see how, you know, you're turning a pile of 1,000 cards that in my mind I could get $5 for if I sold them in bulk. And then I don't have 10,000 cards, I only have 1,000, so I have to ship them somewhere or to find a place locally. So it's just like a lot of work to make $5 or to lose money to ship them somewhere. So it's like I just decided to try to squeeze the value out of what I have and get rid of the cards at the same time. And to my surprise, it's working. I don't know my profit margins really because I already had stamps, I already have envelopes. The only thing I've spent money on really since I started is this and cards. um, but, you know, like I said, if you factor in 60, 70 cents, you know, maybe you're making, 40, 50 cents a card. You multiply that out. Um, it adds up. You know, if you've ever gone through your change jar and pulled out quarters, it doesn't take that long for you to get to $10 in quarters and be surprised, like, wow, there was $10 laying in that pile of change. Um, so yeah, can you make money selling individual cards on tcgplayer, bulk cards that are under, um, significantly under $1 value? Yes, you can. And if it's something that you're interested in doing, I suggest that you give it a try. It's been really fun and fulfilling to me. I'm actually kind of like strangely hooked on it. I want to keep going. I want to buy bulk from somebody. I want to buy Magic bulk. I want to buy Pokemon bulk. I want to diversify. I want to, I want to spend, 10 bucks on 2,000 cards, go through it all and find out that I can make, I don't know, 2, 3, 400 bucks out of it. That would be awesome. I don't know. It just seems like something unique, fun, and potentially somewhat lucrative. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll come back and kind of, you know, if I keep going, once I have to buy materials, maybe I'll track my orders, you know, and do a profit analysis and show you guys what you can actually make selling bulk. All right, I decided to open my last box. I was debating if I was gonna hold back or not, but ooh, it was worth it. Nightmare Unicorn, 25th anniversary rare. Quarter century secret, I should say. Man, look at that thing. It really pops off of the blue a lot more. Am I crazy, or does it pop off the blue a lot more? No, it pops off the blue a lot more. So, you know, we looked at these cards and, you know, all this to say, I've probably fulfilled or sent out, I don't know, 30 orders since I started listing all my bulk. And last time I checked and did the math and everything, I was getting close to 150, 200 in sales. Not in sales, in what I actually get paid out from tcgplayer after fees. So what did I do? I took that and I bought more return. Oh, that's one thing I spent money on too. Return stickers for envelopes. Definitely need those. So you don't need them. You could write your return address on every envelope, but I promise you, you will not enjoy that. So I hopped on Vistaprint, got me some more of those, and I also got business cards, and I put on them, I will buy your bulk, and we'll see what happens. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's all for now. I have to say that this is my most exciting thing. I'm probably going to keep this lava golem. This is fucking awesome. Pardon my French. Wow. Yeah. Remember pulling this out, slapping it on your opponent's field, sacrificing their monsters. And you're like, ha. Especially if you had like some way to lock them. Or you play a lava golem in a skill drain deck. All right, guys. If you have any questions about selling bulk on tcgplayer, I'm not an expert, but I'd love to talk to you about it if you want to know. If you want to sell me bulk, we could talk about that. If you're a longtime supporter and you're like, this is kind of out of left field, hey, you know, we all have different interests. Not everything is about sneakers. Not everything is about, you know, hustles and making money and stuff. You know, my dad said, you know, a man needs a hobby to keep from going insane or beating his wife. Take that for what it is from a different generation. But, you know, if you can find a hobby in which you can make some money out of it, or, you know, at least get back the money that you put into it, I think that's a lot better than most people, you know, who sink a lot of money into their hobby. Maybe they have some fun, but at the end of it, you know, like I said, you got 40 pairs of shoes that you can't wear or that you don't wear. What's the point in that? Anyways, guys, this has been Big J ASC, and that is my name on tcgplayer if you want to go find me. I'm going to leave you with a close-up of this shiny, shiny cardboard goodness. Wow. Laters.